Hopefully you're staying hydrated, using your sunscreen. I just wanted to come out and say hi, introduce the folks coming out here, and also just check in with you. You having a good time, gentlemen? That is awesome. I don't know how many of you were in that gigantic line waiting to get back on the boat, but it was fun to say hi to a bunch of you, and I don't know if you shared it with your teams, but as you saw, Autumn Calabrese was nice enough to help me go gather over 100 trinkets and souvenirs yesterday from the port, where we're getting ready to recognize the top 100 coaches getting Success Club points between, well, really, while we're on this cruise, we're giving an incentive to anybody who's not here to still stay proactive, still be getting after it. And they got the rest of the day today and the rest of the day tomorrow to make it in that top 100, and I'll send them a signed postcard, and I got snow globes and fridge magnets, and there was some stuff. I don't know who's buying these souvenirs, but they're not things that you should have out on the coffee table. That is for damn sure. But I really do hope that people are taking this time, if they're not on the cruise, to be inspired and motivated to make something happen so that they can be on the next trip, or nonetheless just move their business along. Because it takes commitment, it takes that inspiration. And you know, we were just back here talking about, in fact, other MLMs. Like, people are talking about other MLMs. They get invited to groups, and like the list of MLMs was like endless. And you know, from skin and clothes and jeans and like essential oils and all this stuff. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh my God, like what are these other companies like? How are they even in the conversation based on what we're doing? Because like, I really don't love the idea of commercializing relationships necessarily. I think peer-to-peer marketing can be valuable, but the idea that your relationships all then become commercialized, I think can be a real problem. And I was like, so I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, this is why I love what we do so much. And this is why it's so important that we do it in a specific way. Because as much as I want you to be in Success Club, as much as I want you to sell Shakeology and challenge packs and all that stuff, I never want you to do it for the purposes of making the commission. It's got to be about helping people. That has got to be it. Otherwise, there's going to be some group of distributors backstage at something, and they're about ready to talk about their skincare, and they're going to talk about that MLM Beachbody. And I just don't want to be in that conversation. I don't want them to even think of us. I want them to think, yeah, they're about helping people. Yeah, people make some money, but they're really just about helping people. That's the way I want them to think about us. And we're lucky enough, I mean, seriously, everybody in this room, we are absolutely blessed by the people who you're going to get to hear from. And first, let me say, these two guys, Jeff and Michael, I could not be a luckier CEO to have found these two guys to both share the top spot in terms of helping and truly running all things network marketing. Jeff handling out of the Utah office with his team. They do an incredible job keeping all the regions motivated and putting the market councils together, making Super Saturdays happen, and then doing that push toward the end of the month. And Michael with his combination, Michael's an outrageous, almost a human walking contradiction. The guy who you have seen do these outrageous things, from fireworks coming out of his tush at Summit, you know, I mean, and to playing the ukulele. I mean, you just think this is the most creative guy, and then he'll be in a meeting talking about computer systems and why we need to change them and what logistics are happening, and you're like a rocket scientist. How is it that I saw you on stage with a rocket flying out of your ass? Sorry, kids. So I'm just so blessed to have the stewardship of this network in the hands of these two guys. I'm grateful for them every day. And from their work and their, you know, what John and I, literally, we came up with the idea of this network over pancakes and eggs one morning. And I told the story last night when we had our Elite 10 party that never did we visualize that out of that breakfast would there be a time when we would charter the largest cruise ship in the world. And that, what this ecosystem has created is an opportunity for people who never thought they would be on this path to this kind of financial success. And what you're going to learn from are people who are exactly like you, meaning they've got challenges. They never expected it. They were, many of them, down on their luck, or they had other careers. Some of the things you're going to hear about, I hope you don't just see 10 gorgeous women up here, because they are gorgeous, or 10 outrageously successful entrepreneurs. I hope to see yourself and go, what was it? What did she do? How did she get support? How did she manage to coexist with family obligations and a husband who's working and possibly cynicism or skepticism all around her, and she still made it through? Out of over 400,000 coaches, out of 400,000 coaches, these are the top 10. Please welcome to the stage Jeff, Michael, and our elite top 10 coaches. Now to you.
Okay, smart water. We'll need all of that. Okay, this is an outstanding group, fun group, bright group, experienced group, and we're absolutely thrilled to have them on the stage with us today. Everyone knows who they are, but maybe just very quickly. Obviously, Melanie Mitro, top coach. We have Lindsay Matt. This is her third time in the Elite 10. Lindsay Matway, former top coach. This is her, get this, 5th time as an Elite 10 coach. Pretty outstanding. I'm just going to jump down to Melissa there on the end, Melissa McAllister. This is her 4th time as an Elite 10 coach. You see we've got all the numbers covered. We have 3-time top or elite coach, Amy Silverman, right here. So they came and snagged the front row, Amy. So that's all good. Where's our 2-time? Anita, 2-time. Anita Myron, 2-time Elite 10. Elisa Shoemaker, 2-time Elite 10. And then Bonnie Engel, 1st year. Megan Abelson, 1st year. And Raina Odell, 1st year. And Brittany Powers, 1st year. So what you're going to get today, I think, is a great blend of, hey, really relatively new coach all the way up to some people that have been in the set, just experience and a lot of great insights. So what we want to do as we jump in, we want to keep this as tactical as possible, and just like the specific behaviors that you guys engage in that have helped you create the success that you've created. So Melanie, just because you're top coach, we're going to pick on you a little bit first. So we talk about Success Club all of the time. We talk about vital behaviors. First one is about inviting, probably the most critical of them all. In your business, you've done a great job of developing a base of Success Club achievers, kind of in line with the leadership ladder. Talk a little bit about how you've developed a culture of people who develop or who achieved Success Club 5 and then duplicated that. That question makes sense.
How do I create a culture? How do I create a culture of Success Club? So I think it starts with me. As the leader, I have to definitely lead by example, and that's one thing that I'm really good at is I practice what I preach every single day. You know, I'm doing the workouts, drinking my Shakeology. I am, inviting people to join my challenge groups. I still run challenge groups every single month, sometimes 2 a month. And so because I'm doing that, I'm able to teach my team, hey, this is what I said, this is what worked for me, or, this is the wording I use that I tend to get the most yes responses. And by me constantly sharing that and walking that walk and talking that talk, my coaches duplicate the energy. And then also too, when you hit a month where you have maybe a rough patch where you feel like you're inviting everybody under the sun and it's objection after objection, I'm able to say, hey guys, this is normal. I'm feeling the same thing. Hang in there, try this, do this differently. And so when you as the leader are constantly, in the trenches, as we would say, doing what we want our coaches to do, they're gonna follow your lead. So that for me is exactly what I do.
Hey, Jeff, just as a follow-up to that, often I talk to coaches and they say, I'm bringing coaches in, but I just can't get them to do anything. And part of being an elite coach, one of the criteria by which you earn elite points is not just you qualifying for Success Club, but having your personally sponsored coaches, and particularly your new personally sponsored coaches, also qualifying for Success Club. So I'm curious, I want to point it at Bonnie. Bonnie, you kind of started strong. What were the things that you did to bring in new coaches and not just bring them in, but also to get them into that Success Club activity, similar to what Melanie just talked about?
Yeah, and I feel like
Hello, test 1, 2.
I feel like we have a tendency as coaches, once you hit a certain level and you start to focus on, okay, now I need to be a leader, so I probably need to do things differently to try to communicate this to them. And I constantly hear kind of what Michael said, well, I'm doing the things, but I can't get my coaches to do the things too. But the most important thing is that you keep it super simple. And if you think about what are the simple activities that you did, because you're all in this room, so you all clearly hit Success Club. Think of those really simple activities that you did to hit Success Club, and then just simply recreate them for your coaches. Just share exactly what you were doing. The most important thing is to keep it simple, and it's not much more complicated than that. Everyone hears leadership, and you have to help your coaches do something, and all of a sudden we have a tendency to overthink everything. But it's really just those fundamentals shared in a way that's mirroring exactly what you're doing.
So, Melissa, down there at the far end, you became a coach how long ago?
7 years.
So you've been a for 7 years.
7 years, yes.
One of the things that I remarked about your business is this is your 4th time as an Elite 10 coach. You're not a coach that I would refer to as one that has achieved Success Club 100 every month. Yet you've been very consistent. You have a very, very strong organization over those last 7 years. What do you keep doing? Some people might assume that, hey, I've stopped. I don't have to invite anymore because I'm in the business. I've established myself. So what does your daily routine look like to achieve Success Club? And do you leave it there?
Daily routine for me to hit Success
Yeah.
Club? Or, it's kind of, Melanie has always put it really well for us, but it's that marketing plan. So when I know something is going to be on sale, and so I always will, not even knowing what that is, but I tell myself, okay, I need to promote that at the very beginning of the month, which allows me, I usually give myself about a week or a week and a half to advertise that so that I get Success Club hopefully the beginning of the month, so that I don't stress about it. And then we get that challenge group going at the end of the month. And I hold a challenge group every single month. I have for 7 years. I hold my challenge groups only for 30 days. I leave the group open. So if they want to continue to support each other, they can. But for me, I move on to the next challenge group because it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So I'm giving them 30 days of my undivided attention. And then I move on to the next group. And so I just continually keep doing that, making sure that I advertise at the beginning, get Success Club by the middle of the month, and really start diving into those people so that the next month I can start promoting again for the next challenge.
When we talk about inviting and the that vital behavior, I mean, that's such a big spectrum of activity inviting. I mean, it really starts from just starting to increase your exposure all the way to getting people into challenge groups and getting them results. That's kind of the whole responsibility of the inviting process. And I know that for most of the 10 of you on here, that front end of that, of attracting people, is something that I think all of you now have pretty large social followings. And when you build that large social following, it becomes kind of an attraction engine that starts making it a little bit easier to invite people, to source those people to come into your challenge groups. But so let me direct this at Lindsay, okay? Go back in time, so way back, not what you're doing now, but when you first got started to build that social engine, what were the key activities that you did, the simple key activities that you would consistently do to start building that engine however many years ago?
So just so you guys know, sorry about my voice ahead of time, I don't actually usually talk, I type. So come to find out I don't have much of a voice. But I started out my Facebook with 126 friends. I remember going back through my timeline and it actually told me how many I had. And I didn't have people that, really followed my journey with the fitness side, a bunch of dudes basically, and I knew that wasn't my niche market. But I would say the number one thing that I did really well in the beginning is deciding who I wanted to be a part of my team. Coming from a hospitality world, you never got to choose who you worked with, and so I worked with a lot of people I didn't really like. And I decided with this is my first opportunity that I get to pick who I work with. And I think oftentimes with coaches, they are so worried about not attracting people that they're like, I'll take anyone, just please join my team. You're convincing them to join. And so I decided to create a brand of what I wanted my team to look like. Who was I speaking to? And I didn't necessarily have those people as friends yet. So for me, it was women who were where I used to be, even before I ever had done P90X. So a new mom who had lost herself in the whole pregnancy, maybe felt out of control. She thought that, well, okay, I'm a new mom, but what else am I? Who am I? And so I would speak to that person with my Facebook wall and my post, but then I also started to think, where do they hang out? So when I was going through my pregnancy, I don't know about you guys, but I was the first of all my friends to get pregnant. And so I would go on these different message boards and I would make friends with some of those people. And so I started to ask them, hey, are you guys on Facebook at all? And some of them would send me their link and I would request them. Or I would think, okay, what do new moms do? We get our babies photographed. So I would go to photographers that specialized in family photos or that specialized in newborn photos. And I would see all the new people that they were putting on their wall every day of their cute, adorable baby photos. And it's easy for me to give a great compliment on an adorable baby or a sweet family, and then friend request that person and say, hey, I saw you shot with Sandra last weekend. How was she? I was considering shooting with her as well in the future. And that's an easy conversation starter. And I knew that that person likely is in the same place as I was. I also joined a mom's church group at my church locally, and then I also joined mom's groups on Facebook that had nothing to do with anywhere locally, because I knew I also am an introvert, so I don't want to be meeting face to face all the time. I was never going to be the girl that goes on meetup.com and goes on stroller rides. That's just not who I am. So come to find out, there's lots of moms just like me who didn't want to be face to face with people. They wanted to be face to face with their little girl, and that little girl over there I got to, use as my way to connect with people and other moms to say, I want to be present with my daughter. And as I started to build the business, I shared my why and who I was looking for, and that really just naturally attracted people.
Awesome. Amy, if I could ask you kind of the same question. So, big social media, where were you when you got started in this business and just kind of learning the ropes, and how did you start to build this big social engine that you have right now?
Well, I was kind of one of those people that I really struggled with people. I specifically seeked out a career where I'd sit behind a computer screen. I'm actually an introvert, despite what people may think. I just have an outgoing personality, which is very different. But I had, my upline was telling us, whatever it takes, you've got to talk to at least 3 people a day. And I was a full-time student, full-time waitress. I didn't have time to sit in front of the computer all day. I didn't have a smartphone back then. The internet was not what it is today. And so I would I had the 3-foot rule. So if I was on the bus and you were sitting next to me, I talked to you. If we were in the grocery store and you were next to me getting veggies, I talked to you. And my goal was always to get, connected with them by the end of that 3 minutes. And I did it the old school way of just talking to people while I built my social media, because you guys, it's the long game. Social media, don't bank on it. Don't expect to have people knocking down your door your first 3 years. It took me 3 years to build my social media to where it is today. And if I had waited for people to come to me for those first 3 years, I would not have been a top 10 coach my third year. So, it's really important that while you're building your social media and while you're doing all the things that Lindsay talked about, that you are getting out of your comfort zone and you are learning how to be a conversationalist. I think it was Danielle Natoni. I remember reading when I was a new coach, she made a post one time about like uncross your arms, get off your phone and look up and talk to people. And so I was like, oh, it's so simple, but like so duh. So that's what I started doing. I stopped burying my face in my phone and I started making eye contact with people and touching people and just being like a human in everyday life and got off my phone, and lo and behold, like people want to connect, like people need connection. So there's so many ways to connect with people if you're just focused on building that relationship instead of like making the sale. And I think just that, that really worked for me my first couple years until I built my social media and really figured out the whole attraction marketing thing, which was my focus because I saw Lindsay and I was like, I want that. How do I do that? And so I just, I focused on building that following while I was hitting Success Club and building my team and doing all the behaviors that Bonnie talked about that are super simple, but you can't go into management mode. You've got to continue learning and growing, so.
Okay, Alyssa and Anita, just 2 questions. First is, Success Club is a little bit, and recruiting is a bit of a numbers game. You have to invite so many people in order to have actually customers sign up, new coaches sign up. In your businesses, have you kind of figured out what that formula kind of looks like to say, I need to invite so many in order to get this many into my business? And then the second question after that is consistency. Lots of times we talk about consistency, but what does consistency really look like on a daily basis in your business? So maybe the first one, if you've got a formula for that, and then the second, consistency.
Okay, so I really don't have a formula for that. I'm not a huge recruiter. So being a top 10 coach, I know a lot of times you look and you think we have to recruit a ton of people. I'm not a huge recruiter. I probably recruit about 15 coaches every month. If I could figure out how to do 40 plus, I would.
Only 15? Goodness, what are you doing? 15's a lot.
Okay, well, compared to like other numbers, I really don't recruit that many. So
Everyone in the room started sweating.
Okay, but
Okay, consistency.
consistency. Okay, so what does your day look like on a daily basis? For me, it's getting up, I do my devotional every morning, and then I listen to personal development, and then I read personal development as well. Personal development is what has changed my entire life. So that's really how I start my day, and then after that I go to my emails and my messages, and then I start forming relationships with people. On social media, just as Lindsay had said, going into those groups, I go onto different like pages, nothing having to do with fitness, and I build relationships with people there. I try to do at least 10 just forming of new people every single day. And then I go into my invites, so as you're forming people every day, you're gonna have more people that you can invite. So you kind of have this system, right, this funnel. And then I start to invite every day. And I probably invite like 10 people, sometimes 15 people a day. And then, my emails, my messages. And I just think the biggest part of all of this is like my business is still 80% of what I do is still my business. I have a pretty big team, but the 20% is then working with my team. And I think that's one thing that I just want to make really clear is that no matter where you're at, nobody is going to build your business for you. It's just still like, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on your children. It's the same thing having to do with your business. So just kind of like my little takeaway there. I think sometimes people go to diamond or maybe start diamond and then you fall back because of the fact that you go into this management mode and you don't continue to build your business in the background.
Okay, so you asked how many people you typically invite, what would be a good number, and I've always told my team 1 in 30 are going to probably say yes, maybe. So think about that number. So if you want to recruit higher numbers, if you want to see higher Success Club numbers, who here wants higher Success Club numbers? Okay, well then 1 in 30, if you're inviting 2 a day, is that enough? No.
So you need to think about, okay, I'm going to be honest, you don't need to do this, but in my second year I invited 30 a day. And that's a lot, but I wanted higher Success Club numbers. So I mean, that's just putting it out there. As far as inviting and how I do it now, I don't necessarily private message invite anymore. I follow a system, and I have a video on YouTube, and I strategically plan my month every single month the same way, and I've done it the same way for 3.5 years. And I promote certain things every single time, same time every month, to kind of cast a net and get people interested, so I can get quality conversations going. So I'm not just poking in the dark, inviting people. And sometimes, you guys, you have to understand, when you are doing this in the beginning as a new coach, it may not work the first 6 months. And it didn't work for me the first 6 months. But after month 7 of the same people, and then I'm actually, adding to my network, they're seeing this over and over again. Oh, this new coach sneak peek. Oh, this challenge group. Oh, this free clean eating group. She's doing it every single month without fail. I'm gonna finally say yes, and I'm gonna go hop in there. And then from that's where I get these really quality conversations going with great people. And so I am a well-oiled machine, and I don't let up off that machine at all. I stay very consistent on that. And I no longer do the 1 in 30, but I no longer do 30 people a day I'm inviting, but I'm talking and having really quality conversations with 30 to 40 people every 2 to 3 days. So, you just finding a well-oiled machine to work with, and that takes trial and error over time.
So, Megan, I have a question for you. So, you're a busy mom, got a full day, and we know that these vital behaviors are vital and you're supposed to do them every day. How do you manage to fit them into your day and stay consistent with the activity? And if it's a struggle, it's okay to say that too.
It's a struggle. No, you just tie the baby on and go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the most organized person. My team knows that, but I make sure I get my vital behaviors done every single day and make sure that it's a priority and that all the distractions are completely turned off, because I don't have, that luxury to just do it throughout the day. I gotta change diapers, I gotta get snacks, it's just crazy. And you guys who are moms, so, just first thing in the morning, making sure personal development, inviting. I do the same. It's funny when you got to me, like everybody else has said what I would say. I'm 80% on my business, 20% on my team, and just a lot of personal conversation every single day. And along those lines, with your social media, I do actually still do a lot of personal inviting, because my social media doesn't grow unless I'm personally reaching out to people, because that's kind of how Facebook works. So again, like Amy said, don't wait for people to come to you. We're a relationship building business, and that's a huge part of this, and you have to make sure you're talking to a lot of people personally.
Can I ask, did that come naturally for you,
No.
or was it something that you struggled with? And
No.
if so, how did you get over it?
Yeah, it's just kind of like that practice makes perfect thing, The first invite is so awkward. It's like, so how's the weather? What are you doing today? But a little tip I want to share. If you're working on a like page, like I do, I've been building a like page for a long time. A very simple conversation starter is, hey, thank you for liking my page. We must share an interest in health and fitness. Do you mind if I ask you, are you working on any goals right now? So you're not beating around the bush, like, how's the weather? Or what's your kid's name? It gets right to the point. Obviously they liked your page because they share that interest. They see what you're doing, and I encourage my coaches, don't share everything health and fitness, but that's that common ground. I mean, that's what we do. So they already know that, and it just makes it less awkward. So I kind of, it's such a simple thing, but I figured it out down the road after I got so tired of asking about the weather.
Let me ask Raina kind of the same question. One, you started, you learned about the vital behaviors. How long did it take you to figure it out? How did you figure it out, and how do you work that into your day, every day?
Yeah, for me, I said this 100 times on calls, so I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but I was an all-in coach from day one. I rank advanced Emerald really quickly, like, Mom, Brett, you're now coaches, congratulations. Hit Diamond fairly quickly, but I was a Diamond for 9 months, and it was because, just like all of them have already said, I went into this management mode where I stopped recruiting as many people. I wanted the people I had to be more successful than they wanted for themselves, and I was just dragging them along. And so I also didn't do personal development for the first year of my business either. It's like, I don't need that, I'm happy, like, I don't need that pick-me-up. But at that point, after I stalled or plateaued for 9 months, I had actually started talking to corporate, and they're like, okay, I wanted to push for top 10, I wanted 15-star, I wanted all these big goals, but I had to step back and look at what I was doing now, and I knew that it wasn't going to get me there. So I immediately, I think I even went up to Amy Silverman at one point, and I was like, what do you do? Like, what's your secret? And she was like, I just stay in phase 1. And so that's like been my mindset since I've talked to her, just doing the workouts, drinking Shakeology, being present on social media every single day, no matter what. Buy the Wi-Fi here, like, you need to be present on social media. But then just digging into personal development and upping the number of people that I talk to. I went from recruiting, 5 people a month to 15 to 20, and just by, literally talking to 30 people a day, like Anita said. So just stepping up my game.
So Brittany Powers down there, you've had a great year or so. I remember about a year and a half ago with Fall Classic, we would track the leaderboards on that, and it was like, who is this woman? And what is she doing? And obviously December of this year was a big month for you as you continue to push to achieve Elite 10. But as you consider the inviting process and using some of these programs such as Fall Classic, how has that helped you develop yourself, your team, and to be consistent in the business?
So how has Fall Classic helped me?
Yeah, go with that.
God. Still kind of like surreal. I feel like I'm living in this dream world. It's definitely a confidence booster, and for me that's huge. Where I've grown the most over the last, what's been over a year since Fall Classic is leadership-wise. I think I'm generally good at putting myself out there, being present on social media, inviting. I'm much more comfortable with Instagram. I didn't even have a Facebook when I started as a coach. I was like, no, I'm not getting that, it's drama. So Instagram was more my jam, and I'll go off track here, sorry. How it pertains to my growth, I'm trying to think. I'm doing the, sorry.
So I think one way to think about it is you got involved in Fall Classic, and you guys just like busted loose for a month. How did you make that not just a 1 month spurt? Just because you stayed consistent after that 1 month. And so how did you do that? And you've also been really strong about developing teams of people that are doing that as well.
Yeah.
What are the things that you focused on? What are the key things that made you be able to just keep going as opposed to just sort of go and then rest?
The momentum, not letting that die down, because once that starts to back off and you lose it, it's like you're starting from scratch again, no matter how awesome you think you might be doing. For me, I know that if I take a step back or let off the gas a lot, it's just kind of like I feel like I'm, oh my God, what did I do? Like even on this vacation, I'm still present on social media, but I'm still gonna go back home and be like, what? But just doing it, like they were saying, don't overthink it. Like Bonnie said on the national wake call, don't think, just do. When you're like, what do I post about today? Like I have no idea what to talk about. Talk about how you're incorporating Shakeology into your mom life, and how you're not skipping meals anymore, and just be relatable with people. Talk about how you got 3 hours of sleep last night because of a crying baby or a teething baby, but you still push play because you don't have to leave. Just post about your vital behaviors and how you incorporate them into your life. And I started like with 2 babies in the background, both in diapers, a messy house, laundry on the floor, and I realized that that was much more relatable than having, you know, a tripod and a camera. I mean, I film my workouts, you know, with my phone propped up to a water bottle. Like, that's how I started on social media. So it's like, I realized that that's what people were like, you know what? Hey, she's real, like, she's not super glamified, like, all the time. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, this is a lot of makeup right now. But yeah, just, you know, I tell my team all the time, when you feel like you don't have anything to post about, you do have things to post about. Your vital behaviors, you should be growing internally. You should be, I'm an audio girl, I can't read. I have 2 kids, they're 3 and 4 years old. I can't read a book, I'm sorry. I listen to audio. You know, those headphones going when I'm drinking the Energize in the morning, then I'm down in my garage working out at 5 a.m. You know, that's what I have to do, even though I don't go, you know, to work. We work from home. But that's what I tell my team, you know, you still need to have a schedule that works for you and focus on, you know, the vital behaviors when you feel like you have nothing to talk about. You have plenty to talk about, you know, and just being vulnerable and, yeah.
So, Mel, I have a question for you. So Melanie is, I think, one of the great teachers of the world. And if you're on Melanie's team, you know, she has curriculum and she's like always doing trainings and really, and she's a phenomenal, I think, communicator. Were any of you at any of our last New Leader conferences? So you can attest that, you know, having Melanie train is something that's really special, and she just has a gift for it. But Mel, the question I have for you is that, again, for the coaches that don't have large organizations necessarily, like, what are the things that they should be thinking about? Like, you know, should they be focusing on developing these massive curriculums, or are there key things that they should focus on to build their teams?
So if I think back, so even I can relate this back to being in the spot where you guys are now. We didn't have Coach Basics when I was beginning to build my team, right? We didn't have the Emerald to Diamond. A lot of the resources that you guys have now, you know, that's already created for you. So what I would say to you guys is use that stuff as your jumping off point, because it has been created by all of us, by the other leaders in the company. So download all of those documents and go through them and start to say, okay, you know, what can I use with my team that sounds like me? How should I change the wording? Could I take what corporate has created and maybe put my own personal spin, like how I run my business, and maybe make a 2-minute video? You know, the one thing that I did was just flip on the camera on my phone and prop it up and make a video off the cuff. What's the 3 vital behaviors? How to do an invite. And just interject those things that are created by you right into what Beachbody and the training corporate team has already made for you, because it's already there. So don't go reinventing the wheel. Just add your own spice and your own flair for your personality to what they've already created. And what you'll find is you'll do 30 days of maybe a Coach Basics and you'll say, well, that didn't work. Everybody quit, right? I mean, how many of you have had new coach groups and everybody has quit, right? Well, that's not a sign that you're a failure, that you can't run a new coach group. It just means, number one, maybe you had the wrong people, and so you've got to just try it again next month with a group of new coaches, or restart it again, or maybe you just need to time things a little differently, or add a different video or a different kind of script. And so the one thing that I found is just month after month after month, don't try to reinvent the wheel, don't do a plot twist and change your whole strategy. Just keep doing the basics, and every month just work to improve it, try to get better interaction, you know. So don't recreate it, just use what's out there and put your own spin on it. So that would be my suggestion.
Bonnie, so a year and a half ago, or last year, you came to the New Leadership Conference as a new 2-star Diamond coach. This last year, you came as a presenter, as a superstar Diamond coach. My guess is a lot of coaches have come up to you and said, I'm where you were a year and a half ago. Something incredible happened over this last year. What was that? That made that happen? I mean, it was a year of some pretty incredible growth, but what were some of the specifics that you engaged in to make that magic happen, if you will?
Yeah, for For sure. First, I would say a lot of failure. A lot of doing things the wrong way and trying to figure out where you fit or what your voice is. I always hear coaches say, oh, I'm scared to send out my first invite, or I'm scared to build a team, or say what my team name is. But if you're not failing, you're not going to win. Failure is a part of everything that we do. So you might be sitting there, maybe you're a diamond, maybe you're an emerald, and you think, wow, 15-star diamond is so far away. And when I went to New Leadership Conference the first time as a 2-star, I thought the same exact thing. I saw people on stage speaking as superstar diamonds thinking, wow, you know, I have to figure out all these things and change everything I do to get there. One thing that was really, really key is that I raised my standards after that event. So initially, before I went there, I thought, okay, my non-negotiable is Success Club 10 every single month. I'll hit that. And I went back home and I said, no, if I want that success, I have to raise my standards right now. So every single month after that, it was Success Club 20, over that every single month. And the higher your standards, the more you'll move forward. And I see a lot of, I'll be honest, the first year sucks. It really sucks trying to build that traction, kind of what we all said, building up consistency, figuring it out. And it's the people who are willing to wade through that suck who actually make it to the point where they want to be. It's true. So when you're along that way and you're pumping the well and the water just isn't coming out and you're pumping and pumping and pumping, you have to hold on to that bigger, we call it a why power, but whatever you want to get to in your life, you have to have it in front of you. And as long as you raise those standards every single month without fail, even if you're having a terrible month, sending the wrong messages, not getting a response, as long as you're raising those standards, you'll get there. And to make little benchmark goals along the way. So it is very hard to be sitting at diamond and say, I want to be a 15-star diamond, because that goal is so far away, and then you're missing all of the magical smaller goals that happen along the way. So what I did for our family is I said, okay, well, next month I want to help 5 more people, and then I hit that goal, or I want to hit 5-star diamond first and then hit that goal. So you're always hungrier for the next benchmark goal. You always have something to look forward to, and there's not just this far off, you know, hit the moon goal. You know, it's what they say, if you shoot for the moon, you'll land among the stars. So you have that big push goal, and then along the way, you have your little stars that you're kind of landing on as you get there.
Awesome. So, okay.
I have a little confession to make now. Last year, when we had one of our superstar diamond gatherings, one of the superstar coaches said something that I thought was really profound. And I can't remember which one it was, but I'm almost positive that it was Melissa. So I'm going to attribute something to you, and if it's not you, just pretend like it was. But actually, she doesn't know this, but the theme for this year, Stronger Every Day, came from something that she said on that when we were celebrating the superstar coaches, and it resonated so strongly with me that she said, like, being a Beachbody coach and being a part of Beachbody has made my life stronger in every way. Was that you? Okay. So and it just like I remember that hit me and I just kept thinking about it, and like it immediately, we knew that was going to be the theme for the year of Stronger Every Day. So I want to ask you, Melissa, hopefully you were the person. I want to ask you, like, what does that mean to say that being a Beachbody coach, being a part of Beachbody, makes you stronger in so many aspects of your life? And how does knowing that and feeling that sort of reflect onto your customers and make them feel like they are a part of something special as well?
It's like when we were talking backstage and Carl started off the conversation talking about how we were talking about different MLMs back there. We really were. And when I think about Beachbody and how they're so different, and one of the ways that I sell it is you have to take care of your health regardless. I mean, you need to take care of your health, and you need to be an example to other people, as strangers, family, friends, coworkers, and so why wouldn't you make a business out of it? And Beachbody has strengthened every single aspect of my life. I mean, my kids are, my son, who's right over there, is a little entrepreneur because his mom is. My daughter is crazy about health and nutrition, and my husband, because I had the opportunity to be able to bring him home, our relationship is tenfold what it was before I was a Beachbody coach, because I never got to see him. Now I see him every day. But not only that, it's allowed me, high five all my ladies, huge introvert, to get out of my comfort zone and to be able to talk to, I don't know, 10, 20 people in here without freaking out, because it's allowed me to let my personality shine a little bit more. And the people that start off being strangers end up becoming your best friends in this business, and you get to take this wonderful journey with them. So all the way from customers that you just happen to meet on Instagram to your children, Beachbody is just so influential and has definitely made every aspect of my life stronger.
Amy. So you've been in the business for some time now. You've developed a lot of leaders, a lot of coaches, and you're a very straight shooter as well, and which is refreshing. And so you've probably developed the ability to sniff out, if you will, and identify the characteristics of a coach that's kind of got it. And as you watch their behavior, what they're doing and what they're not doing, that's going to take them away from success. If you can narrow it down to what's one of the biggest things that you see where you go, this is the biggest time waster, don't do it, don't go there. What would that one thing be? What's that one piece that you'd say, if you're doing this, stop doing it? And then the other piece is, what is the piece that when you see this characteristic or behavior in a coach, that you go, tremendous potential?
So I think, can you hear me? Hello? Now it's on. I think the biggest time waster is thinking. Personally, I think it's overrated. I think I see a lot of people who are successful sitting around coffee, being snooty, talking about politics and thinking they're so smart, doing nothing. And to me, when I see a lot of talk and a lot of opinions and a lot of thinking, I think inaction and I think unsuccessful. And personally, that's my opinion. But I personally have become successful from the exact thing that I was brought up told that was bad and wrong. And my mom used to, I love my mom, but she used to call me a bull in the china shop because I was always just flailing around and doing whatever I wanted and just destroying everything around me. In not so good ways in the beginning, but as a Beachbody coach, it has served me because I just kind of fail forward and I just do, and that works. That doesn't, take it, scrap it, keep it, whatever. And I don't really care what people think. And that's what I try to, get my team behind as well, is not caring what people think. And when I see somebody who I can tell just does not care what people think about them, or they're on the verge of that, I'm okay, you're almost there, but you just kind of need to stop thinking a little bit more. Then I'm okay, they have the potential to really see some results really quickly. And I really feel like the coaches who join my team and just are making videos and inviting and they're super excited and they're just putting themselves out there, I'm they're gonna be successful if they keep it up. Because I think also sometimes the coaches who do that, they have success really quickly and then they just disappear. And I'm just where did you go? You only hit success for 5 months, what happened? That sometimes they also get distracted very easily by other things and don't stay the course. And so, what I'm looking for in a perfect coach is somebody who is just willing to put themselves out there and put others before themselves and realize that their story is what's gonna change people's lives, and willing to put that out there. And then also, don't put disgusting colored borders on your pictures, please. Keep it like, I honestly, like, visual communication is a big deal. Like, on social media, when I see somebody putting crazy colors and all this text and stuff, I'm like, nobody's ever gonna talk to you because you're so, like, it's so ugly. So when I see coaching join my team and I go to their Facebook, I'm like, ooh, your Facebook's so pretty. All your pictures are used with afterlight. Like, you're gonna do great if you can invite people. So, you know, there's kind of a mixture. It's like, I really feel like putting yourself out there, but also being like, you know, intuitive to what attracts people, and just really be willing to just like trip over a lot of rocks to get there, and just really just not care what people think about you, because people are going to judge you whether you are poor or whether you are rich or whether you are fat or whether you are skinny. So stop caring and just do what you want to do, because like, I don't know, I'm just going to start preaching, so I'm going to shut up.
So note to self. Note to self, remove all the colored borders on the picture. So Michael, we've got about 10 minutes left.
The good news is Jeff stopped thinking years ago.
Yeah. It served me well.
Yeah. So I want to throw a question out there, and whoever wants to answer can jump in. But you know, Carl talked about you know, that this business isn't about reaching a rank or, you know, building volume or earning commissions. That's the byproduct of getting people results. And so, you know, that's what our focus is, that's what our DNA is focusing on getting people results. We know that, you know, many people are doing that through challenge groups and that focus, and you know, we just introduced the challenge app. But I'm just curious, from anyone who wants to jump in, you know, what are the ways that you, through your challenge groups, get people to get results? You know, I remember just real briefly looking at this study that talked about that it's you know, I know it seems hard to get people to say yes, but it's even harder once they say yes to actually get them engaged and actually doing something. So how do it looks like, Anita, you want to jump in there?
$50 gift card to Nike. Like, my people go nuts for that. Like, they stay on board every week. They're like, I can win this gift card. So like prizes, little prizes, or like a lunchbox, or I don't know what the budget limit is, compliance. I don't know what that is. Are we allowed to?
Anyone else want to jump in on this one?
Jump in. No, there actually, I don't know the rule, but there is but you know, because whenever Gelfand's talking, I kind of zone out. But there are, you can, through compliance, learn, there is a protocol by which you can create incentives for recognition and rewards for people getting things done, but there are lines you have to be careful, so make sure you check in with
Cannot be for recruiting.
and absolutely not for
Absolutely
recruiting.
not.
You can't say, sign up and I'll give you a $50 PayPal gift certificate so no one will know. You can't do that, absolutely. But little incentives to keep people going, promotions, things like that, that is allowable. We were just kidding, Anita. Who else? Megan?
I think what really helps in my challenge groups is empowering people from the very beginning. Our very first day, we don't talk about anything health and fitness. It's all about, tell me about you. I want to know everything about your family, you know, what you do for a living, what your favorite color is, whatever it is. Just really breaking the ice from the beginning. And then throughout the challenge group, I'll do posts that really, you know, have them share a story and kind of get them to start doing the activities that a coach does already. Because we all know that challengers make fantastic coaches, so that's kind of what I focus on throughout the challenge group is how about today we share you know, one victory that you've had over the past however many weeks on your Facebook page, and then we're going to go over there and cheer you on and really support you because you've done a fantastic job, and we want to celebrate that. So any kind of empowerment or like the games are fun, you know, water tag and little contests and stuff like that, but really having them start sharing those stories and encouraging them to do that on their social media. So also, you know, when you come around and invite them to join your team, it's a piece of cake, you know, it's like, hey, you're already doing it, you're a pro. So
Same thing. Sorry, my voice is even worse now. jumping on that, like you have to get in and set clear expectations. And I think a lot of people just jump in, they buy the challenge pack and they just wing it, And I think if you set really clear expectations of, if you fall off, this is in the beginning when they're most motivated, right? Say like, if I stop seeing you show up to the group, how do you want me to approach you? Because I want to be able to help, coach you through this process. And I know there's going to be times where it's going to be difficult. So ahead of even start date, saying, how do you want me to reach out to you? Do you want me to text you? Is there certain, do you want me to be like the Jillian Michaels type coach? Or do you want me to be like the loving Bob? Like which one do you want me to be? Who do you need me to be as your coach? So that you have a set expectation. And that way when they do fall off, you can say, hey, remember when we talked in the beginning and you said you wanted me to reach out to you and be Jillian Michaels? Well, I'm telling you, get your butt up and get on. I haven't seen you in 48 hours, whatever. So it makes it so much easier for you to be a coach. You're not so scared that you're gonna offend them or anything like that. You set that clear expectation.
Yeah, I remember, Lindsay, when we first introduced challenge groups, and you were, I think it was a leadership event, and you were like really straightforward going into the challenge group, what they should, you set the expectations before they joined.
Yeah, you teach people how to treat you, both in the challenge groups and as coaches. And the reason why some of these coaches, their new coaches treat them with more respect is because we demand that. It's the same thing in every relationship that you guys are in, whether it be marriage, friends, whatever. If you have friends taking advantage of you, guess what? You've allowed them to treat you that way. You've almost taught them to treat you that was okay. So that was something that was really important to me, that I wanted to be respected, and so I demand respect.
So Jeff, before I throw you the next question,
Amy wanted to.
Amy, jump in. Where are you going?
Sorry, I'm hiding back here. I also really wanted to say, like focus on the education. I think sometimes people, like think about your group as like a place that you have the opportunity to teach people about actually like wellness and like living a better life. Include the personal development, include little things about teaching about Shakeology. Ask them, what do you want videos about? And then let them pick the topics that you pick the video about. I really think like what Lindsay said, putting the ball in their court and letting them know, like if they want something, they need to ask you, like you're not a mind reader. And like really focusing on the fact that you're there to help teach them and create those discussions and community in there. And it's not just like, you teaching them, like they need to include themselves in the group and be a part of the community as well, I think is super, super important.
Awesome. Jeff, just before, I'll give you the last question, but Jonathan just sent me a very lengthy, Jonathan Gelfand just sent me a very lengthy text, which I zoned out of after the first couple sentences, but I did get out that there is a $50 limit,
But no Nike.
Reward incentives, things like that. And Jonathan, I will do my best to, probably not. Go ahead.
I'm actually going to do two, one to the entire group, but just on the closing out on the challenge groups. We just introduced the challenge tracker. I know Mel, just very succinctly, if you can, I know you've been a fan of it, used it. Can you just maybe talk for 30 seconds on the pros, what you've seen, how it's helped?
So I've used the challenge tracker app. This is my third challenge group I've started in there so far. The things that I love the most are that I can see who has accepted an invite to who's actually in the group, because on Facebook you add people and you don't know that they've ever gone into the group to look, right? And so before it even starts, I know who has gone in, who's done their before pictures, who's written out their goals. But then also, I can see when they've logged in last. And so if I go to my list of participants and I see that it has been 48 hours since they've checked in, you can actually send them a message that goes directly to their inbox, their email, and they can respond back. And so then that's a great conversation starter outside of the group. If they feel uncomfortable sharing something in the group, they can share it with me through a personal message. So that I absolutely love. And I also like that I can see how many workouts, how many Shakeologies they've drank. Like I really can get a good picture as the leader of, are they being consistent, where are they falling off? And so that's helped me, I would say, with helping people to get better results is by using that tool.
Fantastic. One of the characteristics that I've remarked about our elite candidates, a common characteristic is something Carl talked about just a couple days ago, is this concept of non-negotiability. That somewhere, sometime in their business, they've made a decision, they've made a commitment that certain pieces are going to be non-negotiable as they drive their business. So I'd like to just go down the line as we close this out, and you think about, here's the one thing in my business that has been a non-negotiable that has helped me create great success. Nina.
Sharing my life authentically. How much do you want me to say? Okay, sharing my life. Just put it, like, take your camera and like turn it around and face yourself and do some selfies and talk about you. Share about what's going on in your life, your challenges, your successes, your struggles. I think that's super important. If you don't put yourself out there on social media, that's kind of your storefront. You're not gonna be attracting people to your business. So yeah.
I think treating my business like a business. I think a lot of people want the results that some of us have had up here, but you're treating your business like a hobby, and you're not taking this very seriously. And I think so if you treat your business like a business, you've got business hours, not just checking messages like here and there, but you have business hours, you have things that you do, you work from a list every single day, and legitimately treat this like it's a storefront that opens and closes every single day, and you are going to show up for it and do the activities. You're gonna have much more success than treating it like a hobby.
I have two. Number one is never, ever, ever comparing yourself to someone else. And I know that it can be hard to sit there and hear someone share numbers and say, oh, I recruit this many, or I hit this many Success Club points, or I invite this many. But the truth is, you don't want to do what someone else did, because you're a completely different person and you appeal to a completely different audience. And it is the biggest time waster to compare yourself to someone else, because even just the 10 of us sitting here, we're all so different, from such different backgrounds, families, everything. I could never have the same success that Amy has, or Lindsay has, or anyone else up here, because I'm not them. You want to do you, and you want to do you really, really good. And it's only going to harm you if you're looking at everybody else's papers. So keep your blinders on, and your non-negotiables every day, your 3 vital behaviors times 30, and only do you. No one else does you as good as you do.
I would say for me, since I'm such I always have 10 things going on. I'm an Aries. I'm very into multitasking. I have to have tons and tons of stuff happening. For me, just really focusing on the task at hand. I think when I first started focusing and doing what I set down to do versus the notifications and the tings and the this and that, I turn off all my notifications on my phone. My phone is always black. There's no notifications popping up, always distracting me. I'm a sapphire, so I if a bird flies by, I'm like, ooh, I get very distracted. And so I remember the first time I sat down to be a focused worker and be productive, I closed every single tab except for my email, and I just went through it, and I was like, oh my god, it took 10 minutes versus 5 hours. And I was able to start working faster and faster and faster and faster, and then I was able to start actually living my life and working versus being stuck on Facebook for 24 hours a day. You're on Facebook 24 hours a day because you're not productive, not because Facebook is sucking your time. Just remember that.
So for me, it's probably been staying in a constant state of growth, not becoming complacent. It's easy in this business. You achieve milestones that you never thought you would achieve. Obviously the financial side of it's ridiculous, but I always want to remember the girl who I was 6 years ago, who was lost, and that's the girl that I'm speaking to, and I grow on her behalf, because I know the more that I personally grow, the more I can pour into those people that I'm blessed to come across and pay that forward, and I just want to continue to be on that path with this.
Well, I think there's two things. I think having a plan is so important. You just can't go through this business just sort of winging it. Challenge group here, Monday I'll start doing a sneak peek, next week I'll run a free group. You really have to sit down and have a game plan for your business that you duplicate every single month, so you get into a rhythm that you can teach. But then also, I believe that you have to have belief in yourself. And you have to say, against all odds, against all things that have happened in my life, no matter what I look like, no matter what my shape or size is, you have to look in the mirror and say, I believe without a shadow of a doubt I'm gonna be successful.
I don't know how, I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like, but I just know that God created me to do something bigger, and I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna keep going because I just know that it's within me to do something great. I think when you believe and you have a plan, then you're gonna be led on that right path and you're gonna have success.
I have two quick ones. One is not letting your current life situations keep you from getting what you want. I got up here to where I am now, being very, very pregnant last year, and there was a minute when I said, no one's gonna take me seriously, everything's gonna go downhill, like it's just gonna be a mess, but I had to kind of gather myself and say, no, I'm gonna let this be my story, and let your current life situations, whatever it is, help you mold your story and share all of it, share the heck out of it. Because there's so many people out there that can relate to you, and I mean, that's when my business took off. I thought it was gonna be like this fitness superstar at one point, and no, it turns out I found all of my, people, the people that related with me the most is when I, went through my pregnancy and all that good stuff. And my second one is getting to an event, or getting to all the events. Summit was my biggest turning point in this business. I kind of went from, Sapphire, who just wanted to go to Vegas, and I get to Vegas and I just soaked up every minute of it. I watched some of these coaches up here on stage, and they were just normal moms, and they were me, and I looked at them and I said, I want that. I'm going to go after that. And so much happened at that event, and I will always get myself to as many events as possible to feed off that energy and keep going. I am going to snowball, and say that I think the biggest thing for me was being open and being vulnerable to sharing my story, because my story is what makes me unique in this business, and it's the same for a lot of you out there. I think I was a guest on my uplines team call like 5 days into coaching. Pretty sure I spent the whole day in the bathroom before that happened. But it was very scary, and on that call, 5 days as a new coach, I was able to share, overcoming anorexia and bulimia and marriage struggles and things like that. And from that day forward, it was like you just open the door for so many people to just connect with you and have that common ground with you, and it's a conversation starter. So definitely not putting up a wall and opening up and being you, and hit Success Club.
Gets to us and we're like, what she said. Ditto. I was actually thinking what Megan said, let your struggles be your strength. This is life, you guys. Like, people are unfortunately gonna die, you're gonna have relationships, crumble, but what you can do for you, you have to work on yourself. You have to fill your cup and grow inside so that you can pour into others, and you can, be the best friend to your, team, or whoever, your spouse, whoever that is. Just honestly, show up every single day, no matter what. There's gonna be a lot more hard days than there are good days, but just honestly, really, show up every single day. I mean, that's what I've done.
Do I not have the hardest job? I have to sum it all up, but 7 of us did a Success Club, a group thing together. I don't know if any of you guys were a part of that, but yay, that was so much fun. But one of the things that we ended with our little live, see, I'm so bad at that. What is it, Hangout? Is that what we did? We did Hangout. And I had mentioned that I want you, or you should, as brand new coaches or coaches just getting your feet wet, is to be able to stand on a stage just like this, with your shoulders back and your head up, saying, I am a Beachbody coach and I am so proud to be one. You are so different than anybody else. And so it's not just a matter of you being a part of an MLM or network marketing. You're a coach, you are changing lives, you are saving lives. So put your shoulders back, be proud of it, scream it from the rooftops, and let people know what you do, because otherwise they're not gonna know. And so they're gonna go to the next person that is gonna scream it out, probably one of these 9. So you be the person to scream it out for them to go, I want that enthusiasm in my life, and so that they come to you and become a coach on your team.
So,
so just as we wrap up, 4 vital behaviors. The 4th one that was just introduced was recognition. So our next big event is Super Saturday, and after that our next big event is that we'll be taking these 10 lovely ladies to Bora Bora to celebrate their amazing accomplishments as leaders in this organization. And so first I want to congratulate you all for that and thank you for today. But the other thing in closing is that there's so many successes that happen for all of you along the way to being an Elite 10 coach. So whether it's the first person that you've helped get results, or when you become a diamond coach, or when you become a team leader coach, or when you become a premier coach or an elite coach, make sure that know that we are proud of all of those successes. And that while we applaud all of these 10 ladies for what they do, I know that on behalf of the company, Jeff and I applaud each and every one of you for everything that you're doing as coaches and all of your success. And this is going to be sort of the last time on this cruise that we're able to kind of have a microphone in front of us. So want to also just thank all of you for making this just an incredible Success Club SS Beachbody trip. It's been fabulous. It's always fabulous when we get all the coaches together. So just we thank you for everything. So thanks for everything.